everybody, Biff here. Time for another Biff's Bit. The last Biff's Bit that I did, we touched upon the different mediums that I had used to print out special play surfaces for my X-Wing missions. We talked about how I printed onto paper. We also talked about how I printed onto fabric. And we also talked about how I printed on vinyl. I don't have any vinyl here to look at. Today I want to focus in on how I mounted the paper playing surfaces onto poster board to make that playing surface a bit more durable than it just being regular paper. Mounting it onto the poster board, not only does it make it durable, I think that it helps set up a little bit easier, just in that you don't have to take the curl out of the paper when you put the paper down on the playing surface. Yeah, it does tend to make it a little bit harder to transport being mounted on poster board, but it's a trade-off in that. So when I talked about printing out on paper, I mentioned that I would run off to like a FedEx Kinko to have the imagery printed on their 36-inch plotter. You could do that in black and white. You could do it in color. This happens to be a grayscale image that I'm going to talk about today. So you run out, you get that printed. The other thing that I purchased was the actual poster board itself. I like using this Ghost Line poster board. What I really like about this is the size. There's 3 sheets in a package. Each sheet is 22 by 28 inches. But what I really liked was, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the video, but there's a faint grid pattern already printed on one side of this poster board. The other side is completely blank. I liked having the grid line to help me line up the paper that I'm going to be gluing to this poster board. So it just made life a little bit easier to try and keep things straight and true. That's why I like using this Ghost Line. I get it at Walmart. I think it's like $2 or $3 for the 3 sheets that come together. The other thing that you need will be some kind of a spray adhesive. I have utilized the 3M photo mount and this Eline's tacky spray. I've gotten both of these at craft stores. Man, they're usually about $6 or $7 a can, so you'll need one of those as well. Either one works fine. I don't particularly have any preference. Both have worked out really, really well for me. So once you've got all of your supplies, the first thing you'll want to do is take your poster board and lay it out. I put it to where it's the bottom side up, and I'll take clear packing tape and butt the edges of the poster board together and then tape over the edge so that I've got one continuous poster board. I like to have my poster board be sized slightly larger than the print area. That way, this will be the play surface, and here's the poster board. I've got some excess poster board that I could tape to the table if I wanted to without potentially damaging my imagery, my real play surface. So this just gives me a little bit of extra slop on the side. So I usually like to do that. Have the poster board be slightly larger than my printed area. So now you've got your poster board, one continuous piece of poster board that's been kind of taped together, if you will. Then go ahead and take your imagery and go ahead and trim it to where all you have is the playing surface, your actual imagery. Get rid of all the trim that might have come off of the plotter. Go ahead, flip that upside down on a bunch of newspapers that you've spread out over the floor. Then go ahead and take your adhesive and spray down the back side of your image. Once all that's been covered with the spray adhesive, this is when you're probably going to need your buddy to help you out. Because it's pretty sticky, and my experience has been as soon as you make contact with the paper to the poster board, you're probably going to be locked in, and it's going to be very difficult, if anything, to be able to relocate your image on the poster board. So what you want to do is have your buddy hold one end of the image up high, up away from the poster board, and you work the other end. You go ahead and anchor anchor the imagery to the poster board using the guidelines on the poster board, and kind of tack down the edge. And then using something like this kind of a roller, you're going to go ahead and start rolling the imagery towards your buddy. He's going to keep the imagery off of the poster board, and you're going to take your time and slowly start using the roller to tack down the imagery. What you're trying to do here is avoid air bubbles. It's not the end of the world if you get an air bubble, but if you do get an air bubble, you want to work it right away, in my opinion, because what you don't want to have happen is a wrinkle in the surface of the map to appear as a result of an air bubble. So as soon as you see an air bubble, go ahead and take a pin or something and pop it, just a small little hole, and then just work around the air bubble to slowly push all of the air out through whatever little pinhole you made. Chances are you will not even notice that there is a pinhole after you've gotten the surface down nice and solid to the poster board. So you just literally go from one end of your imagery all the way over to the far end of the imagery, and then you're done as far as mounting the imagery. If by some chance you've got a large amount of border, you could go ahead and trim some of that off, maybe make the sides consistent as far as what width away, what kind of a consistent border you have, but that's not really absolutely necessary. So that's kind of it in a nutshell as to how I mounted the paper imagery on the poster board. It's pretty straightforward, although it does take two people, and there's a little bit of coordination involved. You still wind up with a really nice product that travels well and quickly lays out on the play surface to get you in on the action as soon as possible. That's all for now. Thank you very much.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to help us continue improving and expanding our channel's content.